Alright guys, now that we've gotten through the steps of modifying the repeater and modifying the transmitter, I figured I'd go on into showing you guys how I'm adding amplification to my system, and I'm going to include links in the description to the parts that I'm using, as well as go ahead and tell you about exactly what they are and tell you, well, much as I can about it, much as I can remember anyways. I'm having to kind of use a cheat sheet that I had made back off my phone, so just be patient with me. But let me go ahead and show you a little bit about these things here. For your 2.4 gigahertz boosting, you're going to need to get two of the, let's see, what am I using here? I am actually using, I bought all these parts off eBay. I'm using two 2.5 watt 34 dBm broadband Sunhans amplifiers. They actually run on, let me see if I can remember correctly, these run on, they run on 12 volts if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm pretty positive they run on 12 volts. I think I've got 12 running here and here at the same time. Yeah, they do. They run 12 volts. DC, obviously. And I've got one here and one here. And then for the amplification of the 5.8 gigahertz, there's a cheap amplifier. It's not really cheap, but it's not like a Sunhans or anything on eBay. It's silver. I don't know if you can tell much about it here. It's buried up underneath this one. Let's see if I can take one of these off real quick, show you a little bit better. It looks like this here. And on eBay, we are looking at description of 5.8 gigahertz 2 watt amplifier. It's the 802.11. That's basically all there is to it. But it's like I said, it's just a plain silver looking amplifier. I'll have the link to that in the description as well. And what you're going to do is pick you up a couple of 6 dBi attenuators. I really don't know what you have to have attenuators for. It's something about not straining the amplifier or something like that, but they work very well. I've watched lots of videos from other people and they suggest getting them, so I went with that. I've got the gold plated 6 dBi attenuators, and I'll put a link to the description in there for those as well. Alright, and what I ended up doing was taking the cable that came, because these obviously come ready to be plugged into the wall with the AC plug-in. I took them and I cut all 3 of the plug-ins off, and I soldered them all together. I just want to let you know to keep in mind that not all of these Chinese brand colors on these wires are the same. Like, they have a, I don't know if you can see it here, they have a white stripe and black. I actually wired them all up what I thought was the same way, and it didn't come out that way. I actually ended up having to take a multimeter and determine which one was positive and which one was negative wires to get them to actually function correctly. So anyhow, I've got all 3 of those tied in together, and on the end I used the, let me go ahead and get into that part and show you about this anyways. Hang on just a second, I'll set this camera down and show you my booster that I'm using here. See if I can get it off that industrial strength Velcro is on there. Turn my phone on so I can tell you a little bit more about it here. This is, okay, pick you up here. For power, what I'm using you can pick up on Amazon. I didn't buy this on eBay. It's made by Rav Power. It is a part number R as in Roy, P as in Paul, dash P as in Paul, B as in boy, 11. It's about $59.99 each. It's a really, really, really good power supply. Here's the information off the back of this thing here. Basically, this thing's just awesome. I thought it did. Let me see. Yeah, you can do at the same, you can put, this thing will put out either 9 volts or 12 volts, and at the same time, and it puts it out of this DC output right here, and at the same time can either put out, well, it can probably do both. I've never tried, but it'll do, I always use this 2.1 amp 5 volt, or you can use a 5 volt 1 amp, and you are able to power, because of that. Actually, on my repeater here, I have a cable that I run to the USB to keep it, you know, charged at all times while I'm flying, so I don't have to worry about it dying. And the battery life on this thing is awesome. It's got a battery indicator right here to tell you how much battery power it has. It's just a really good power pack. Very well built, good power supply. I've only had to charge it like one time since I've had it. It just never dies for whatever reason, but it does great. Like I said, I've got all 3 of my power supplies, or my boosters, tied in on the same wire, and I feed them into here to the DC output, and then I run the USB plug to the Wi-Fi repeater to this plug here, and that's what provides power. See if there's anything else I really need to tell you guys about. Not really. It's pretty straightforward. See if I can show you how I ended up looking here with my cables. I got one right here, USB plug, and I've got one plug that I think comes with the RAV power that I ended up stealing the end of. Can't remember the exact size or millimeter of that jack, but you can do the same thing. Just it comes, this RAV power comes with multiple ends and things like that you can use. So just use that, and like I say, cut the wires off, solder them together, make your own plugs, and tape them up really tight. Make sure they don't come loose, and give them a test. But that's all you're really going to need for amplification. Then you can put your antennas and stuff on here. So I guess the next step that I'm going to go over of this whole modification process would be, I guess, cutting off the antennas on the actual quadcopter itself and putting Bluebeam Ultras on. So stay tuned, and I will be getting back to you with that video shortly. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, just feel free to write me in the description, and I will be more than glad to answer them for you. Thank you again for watching my video.